Hello, cool dudes, and welcome to Fanfiction Friday, even though it's Tuesday. Good job, me. Before actually getting to my thingy's falling on. Before I actually get into this, I've been trying to record as much as I can. This week, and as you can tell by today and earlier and yesterday, I'm a lot more busier than I planned, but I will probably be able to get episodes or whatever. I'll get into more details further in the week, but I'll probably try to get more things up on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day because I think I'll have time those days, surprisingly enough. Um, but let's get into this, and I will note if you get confused by later in the well, actually, I don't think I'll read it. Yeah, but he took a poll. I noticed there's a third chapter, by the way. Now there used to only be two. Now there's three. His name is Jade, I guess, now. So Xavier, I think? He keeps changing the name, and I don't know. It's Jade now. We won't get into this yet, but in the third chapter, well, we start the second chapter today. He'll be Jade. Just to let you know. I gave Xavier the pendant I wear now. Already starting off on a great note. I didn't know there were two people. Oh boy. The new backstory here is similar somewhat. I changed it so Trueblade was just a title. The title given Trueblade, the Great Lord Xavier arrived 1 year prior to the events of the Awakening era. Okay. Paranoid of his surroundings, he changed his name again and again. That makes sense. Marcus and more. Eventually, he mainly answered to 4 names. Jade, the Masquerade. Okay, now I understand this. Xavier, the Wanderer. Linus, the Admiral. And finally, Rainier, the Renegade. Other titles were Marcus, the Vanguard. Samuel, the Vanguard? That doesn't sound the best. Samuel, the Rogue. Lloyd, the Advanced. And Yin. Just Yin. Jade became his main name. He dyed his hair black. Sable made his hair color change permanent. Then he didn't dye it. Mastering one-handed sword style and 2. Here we go. This is one of the best parts. Occasionally training with a crossbow, axes, and knives. Some point went to service under Walhart as one of the generals. Not sure what that means. I edited this chapter many times. Somewhat fitting what I can, but changing quite a bit. Xavier has the most names out of everyone. Yes, that's not all of them. He's got more names. This is falling down. He's probably more of a lord than a great lord or extremely adaptable fighter. But oh well, it doesn't matter. It kinda does. I changed his outfit to match another outfit I thought of in a story I kept trying to make. Because he has many names, don't try to get used to one unless I tell you to. He'll be Xavier till Salil comes in this chapter. I know nothing. I own nothing, not Fire Emblem or anything else. So he owns Fire Emblem and everything else. Just to let you know. Nothing, not double negatives. Fun! 1 year, Xavier said out loud of bed. Nope, that was wrong on my fault. Xavier said, getting out of bed, straining his back and stretching. He yawned and sighed to himself. It's been over 1 year since I arrived. Trained and perfected what I could, he voiced out, and then turning around to make his bed. A few days after he became general, he learned Salil had joined, and he quickly made her one of his personal subordinates in his area of command. Axes wasn't... That's not right. Axes wasn't something... Oh wait, I skipped a part. Oopsies. Over his bed he had hung his iron sword from the future as a mere decoration. Why is your iron sword from the future just a decoration? During training, he was able to use Aether no matter the weapon he used. He paused, almost about to straighten his pillow. He couldn't shook his head. You heard it here first, folks. He couldn't shook his head. He was only lying himself right this second. lying to himself right this second. Axes, swords, the slim dagger he had, and the crossbow's sidearm. He couldn't use either with those aside from the sword and the dagger themselves. He just said he was able to use Aether no matter the weapon he used. He couldn't use Aether with those aside from swords and the dagger themselves. I love it when they contradict themselves. Axes wasn't something he used on a daily basis. The crossbow was pretty much unused, but he still had it and went. Oops. Same went with the dagger. He knew his mother and Crom used lances. Still confusing who his mother is. And why? So his sisters. He's an older brother of Lucina eventually? I think? In 2 years, I think? I'm not really sure. He used lances as a secondary weapon. He couldn't help but use something different. His first title, Vanguard, was not something he considered often. Masquerade, Renegade, and Yin were his most known titles. I don't remember you mentioning Masquerade, Renegade, oh, I do remember Yin, though. His own titles, he quickly listed them off mentally. The Masquerade, the Vanguard, the Advance, the Admiral, the Rogue, the Yin, and the Wanderer. Not capitalized on the last the. Just thought I'd let you know. Why did I look down under the camera when it wasn't my one? Good job, me. Blah, 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 blah. There are probably more, but that's all he knew. Right this second, anyways. Anyways is not right. I am the Grammar Police. Woot woot. Here I come. Grammar Police. I don't know what I was going. I don't know. He sighed and straightened his pillow so he could finally go to his wardrobe and start pulling off his uniform. The uniform was entirely new, and his suit. I need to be centered. And his suit. What? New and suit his needs perfectly. Much better than the simple Valmy's steel plates he wore over Common's shirt. A new uniform was a gift from his men as a birthday present a week ago. It required he not wear his father's gift, but he soon became fine with it, if not on his person, as long as he had his heart-shaped locket. So he got his father's stuff. Okay. I thought I saw something wrong in there, but I guess not. The locket was cleaned and no longer bruised by dirt from his old life, quote-unquote. It could finally shine, and be kept in perfect condition to hold the last picture he had of his family. Xavier shook his head but smiled nonetheless. It would take a week or more to get to Ulysses. I'm not even going to be able to say that ever. Ulysses? I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. For Ulysses. That was my Summy impression, if you could tell. Spot on, I know. And provide Valmy's assistance. Xavier couldn't believe it. Say he was going to be making a small crack in the area of where Grima won the battle despite help from his mother. He gained a new sword and wore at least 3 on his person. That's a lot of swords. The falchion, which he didn't use much. The 2 sharp Valmy's Lord Commander's rapiers. They were the same as the Elysians, but instead the blue cloth on the grip was bright. Wait. Oh, instead of blue cloth on the grip, it was bright red. Everything else was the same, really. What about his future sword? Oh, sorry, it was just decoration. Oh, I'm sorry. Decoration. The chainsaw sword, you know, from that Corn trailer. He's got a chainsaw sword. Break any sword in half, you can inflate him. He's got chainsaws. Where am I? Okay. The falchion rested on a round wooden table pointing towards the window in his room and his onyx scabbard. Okay. Oh, it is. I got confused with scabbard and handle for a minute. With his 2 slim rapiers resting in an almost exact copy of his onyx scabbard. The onyx scabbard's onyx scabbard, onyx scabbard, onyx scabbard. Pattern onyx scabbard was the exact same on the onyx scabbard and held rapiers. If you couldn't tell, I added some few extra things in there, just little minor things. The only difference between that scabbard didn't the black shade of onyx in the scabbard. Instead, it held white silvery shine to them on the scabbard. Almost forgetting he was standing in front of the wardrobe, he dove his right hand and grabbed the ring of keys he always kept in his back black pants and worked as pajamas. Work, combat, etc. Moved 2 keys in the ring, passing a copper key with a capital T at the end, which was his key to everything he locked up in his desk. Not sure why it's got a T on it, though. A silver key with a shape that could be described as a capital O. Uh-huh. A key in the shape of an O. What kind of locks are you going to be opening there, sir? Like onion ring locks? Which was the key to his room, and finally a gold key with the shape of a hollow triangle. Oh my gosh, he's got a triangle! Rested over his index finger with his thumb holding it in place so it wouldn't fall, even though it's on a key ring. Great. Slowly he directed the gold key into the lock that separated him from his uniform, and with a click he opened his wardrobe to reveal 5 other plain shirts covered blue, white, green, orange, and black. Trailing his eyes towards a white hanger with a... Nope! I don't want you. Hanger with a black robe and red outline, the same color of his father's, as his father's being new. What? Towards the white hanger with a black robe and a red outline, the same color as his father's be new. 2 things. Bees? And secondly, Crom doesn't wear black and red. And thirdly, I know I said only 2. Thirdly, what? The differences were in fact that the garb had a hoodie on it. Okay. Hoodies in medieval times, I guess? I don't know. Magic. And his proud Valmy's lion symbol on the back, colored red and yellow, with yellow outline on it. Trailing his eyes downward, he noticed the brown belt with the metal O, with a smaller O inside of it. In a way, it was or did look like a bullseye. In a way, it was or did look like a bullseye. In a way, it was or did. Zash 101 2015, I think. Was this made October? Oh, that's something new every day. Under it was bright red shirt that he'd wear under his armor. To the side of his were silver boots, similar to an armor knight's. I hate this in grammar. This is like my biggest pet peeve in grammar. When people say a and then a word that starts in a vowel. Because I know that if you use a and then it goes into a word with a vowel, it's an. I hate it when people do that. To an armor knights during the Nor era, even though this is before Awakening and there's not a confirmed timeline in which Fates happens before or after Awakening, and they're not even in the same country. Oh, this is making me angry. And wouldn't it be Nor and Hoshido era? I don't understand Fates. This guy's probably, not living in Japan by the fact that it's written in English. So he's making this whole Fates stuff up. I love it. Armor plates that went in a spiral around his legs, black and red outlined, long shoulder plates shaped like triangles that falled off his person, similar to General Petrine in the Radiant era. That's probably more right, but again, not in the same country. Or continents, or whatever. A plain white bandana was there as well. I'm gonna stop before I get too angry at this. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Fanfiction Tuesday, even though I'm still gonna put Friday in the title. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Goodbye! Oops. Every single time. Goodbye!